Right now, Thomas Markle Jr., the sister of Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, has lashed out at his sister and her husband Prince Harry in the most brutal interview he has ever given.
Do you think your sister, Meghan Markle, has ruined Prince Harry?
The answer is yes. I mean, every single interview, every single picture, every place they go, Meghan grabs him. Meghan controls him. Meghan tells him no. Meghan stands in front of him. She controls every single situation like she is the star. And she's turned Prince Harry into a man of non-substance, for her own well-being.
Meghan Markle is always attempting to, shall we say, build relationships with very, very, very rich men.
Royal family, you should be so thankful this woman wanted to leave, because she's not going to bring any good to the branding of royal. She's going to downgrade it to a level of ghetto. And that's what it is. This is just bad.
And I think it was a desperate plea because they've made their bed for the last 6 years and now they're sleeping on them, and the entire world knows exactly what's happening with those two.
Do you have any advice for Harry?
Yeah, stop talking about the royals. Stop giving away all the secrets about the royals, and love your children and love your wife, but also love your grandmother and love your father.
She doesn't know us. It's just very bizarre how she just basically brushed the entire family under the carpet like we don't exist, and then lied about not having a family and lied about she doesn't have a family that she's always wanted. We've always been here.
Harry just can't give her anything else anymore. He served his purpose. His purpose is over, and they're no longer aligned in purpose. So it's time to move on.
She's already gotten the benefit of her bargain with Harry because she got the title. That's what she wanted. She wanted to be world famous. She wanted the title. You remember when Harry was single, he was the elephant. He was the one, the most eligible bachelor on earth. You could be a royal, you could become world famous overnight, you could live in a castle, you could have access to the crown jewels, you would be a princess. My God, yes, he could have had his pick.
All right, I do blame Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle, stain of humanity. Yes, Meghan, and I hope you're watching right now. I hope you're watching, Meghan, because you are the stain of humanity.
She'll ever let Harry go, because she is so fixated on having a title that she doesn't even have or deserve anymore, right? Yeah. Technically, she's not part of the royal family. On paper, on the website, Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and I think that's her biggest. That's anybody.
It's December 2025, that time of year when everything is supposed to feel warm. Candles glowing, soft music playing, people talking about forgiveness, compassion, healing, family. And right there on social media, Meghan Markle is presenting exactly that image. She's in Montecito, filming her Netflix lifestyle show, smiling for the camera, speaking gently about values, balance, love, and connection. Everything looks curated, calm, almost saint-like. But while she's doing that, on the other side of the world, something devastating is happening. In the Philippines, her father is lying in an intensive care unit. He's 81 years old. Doctors have rushed him into emergency surgery. His leg has to be amputated because a blood clot cut off circulation. This isn't routine. This isn't minor. This is life or death. His leg turned black and blue. 3 hours on the operating table. Foot and lower leg gone. Doctors warning the next few days are critical. Sepsis, gangrene. Words no family ever wants to hear. And during all of this, there's no public dash to the hospital. No private jet. No bedside goodbye, no tearful reunion, no hand being held in those final moments of fear. There's no call reported, no visit, nothing personal, just a letter sent through representatives, cold, distant, clinical. It reads less like a daughter reaching out to her dying father and more like a PR task being checked off a list, like he's not her father at all, just a problem to be managed quietly from thousands of miles away. And that's the moment where people start to feel something shift, because no matter how carefully the image is packaged, moments like this cut through everything. And that's when things stop being quiet.
She's decided you're all too big a problem. Therefore, you have to be cut loose. And I got to be honest, I knew Meghan for a bit before she met Harry. Did exactly the same to me. Bang, done. She did that to many people that she knew, that she'd either worked with or was friends with or whatever. It just seems to me she's what I would call a ruthless social climber.
Because this is where it turns explosive. Meghan's brother, Thomas Markle Jr., the same man people mocked and dismissed years ago, the same man who stood up in 2018 and begged Prince Harry not to marry her, has stepped forward again. And this time, he's not just venting. He's not just angry. He's not emotional for the sake of it. He's dropping a bomb. Back in 2018, he called Meghan a phony, a bully, shallow, cold, conceited. He warned Harry directly, saying, "I think she's going to ruin your life." People laughed. The media painted him as bitter, as jealous, as unstable. But now, years later, after everything that's happened, those words don't sound so crazy anymore.
I mean, that moment when Prince Harry, who's never met your father, says that Meghan has no father, what did you think of that?
I think it's horrible. The documentary is so far off on so many different levels.
Thomas Markle Jr. says he's writing a tell-all book, and this isn't about petty childhood drama. This isn't sibling rivalry. This isn't some cheap revenge story. According to sources, this book is about the one chapter Meghan has never explained. The years before Suits. The years that don't quite add up. The years when she was supposedly a struggling, broke actress in Los Angeles, barely getting by, hustling from audition to audition, and yet somehow she was also partying on billionaire yachts in Monaco. That contradiction has always been there, quietly ignored, carefully avoided.
Prince Harry wanted to make amends and come meet my dad. Wow, that's just crazy. I'll tell you right now, Prince Harry, if it has to do with anything with the Netflix crew and cameras, don't even bother. My dad's had enough crap from bogus PR stunts to last him for the rest of his life.
Photos exist, not rumors, not anonymous whispers, real images. Meghan on luxury yachts, surrounded by wealthy older men, invites to elite yacht parties, documented access to a world most actresses never see, especially ones who aren't stars yet. And here's the part that makes people uncomfortable. She has never explained who those men were, how she knew them, or who was paying for that lifestyle. Every time the question comes up, there's silence. And silence, when the evidence is visible, only makes the questions louder.
How can she sit there saying, "I so love my family, my family love me," and ruthlessly cut you, Tom Sr. and Samantha out of her life?
That Meghan Markle really did expect Harry to be a billionaire when she met him. She was incredibly disappointed to find out he's only worth a couple million, and she's gonna have to actually work and hawk these jams and jellies and dog biscuits to have the lifestyle that she wants.
Now comes the real problem for her. Her brother wasn't watching this from a distance. He was there during those years. He saw it up close. And according to people familiar with what he's planning, he's ready to answer the questions she's spent years avoiding. So buckle up, because whether people believe the yacht stories or dismiss them as family payback, what's about to come out could rip apart the image Meghan has worked obsessively to build. And the timing matters. Her father is dying. She won't even visit. That raises one ugly question that people can't stop asking. Has Thomas Jr. finally hit his breaking point? Has he decided he's done protecting secrets for someone who won't even show up when it matters most? Do you sense that maybe trouble may lay ahead? I've always thought that, honestly. I've always thought that because, not that I want to bring up the fact that I wrote that letter, but I wrote that letter a long time ago in hindsight of her. This isn't a man suddenly looking for attention. This is someone who warned the world years ago and was ignored. And now everything he predicted has played out in real time. Let's start with why Thomas Jr. isn't just running his mouth for attention. Back in 2018, right before the royal wedding, his open letter went viral worldwide. He didn't hold back, he didn't soften the language, he didn't try to sound polite, he begged Harry to walk away before it was too late. Walk away. He called Meghan a phony, and that word matters, because you don't call your own sister a phony unless you've seen a pattern. Not a moment, not a mistake, a pattern. Has she made any attempt to contact your father since he had his stroke? None whatsoever. And I totally agree with you on the fact that none of us were ever coached or given any help with the paparazzi or press since the very beginning, which has caused a lot of problems. Nobody reached out. I actually reached out. That silence keeps repeating. Stroke, heart attacks, hospital beds, and still nothing. And here's why people are listening now. Harry ignored that letter. He married her anyway, and everything Thomas Jr. warned about started happening. The family collapse, the rift with William and Kate, the permanent royal exit, the non-stop media wars, burned bridges everywhere they go. Everything he predicted came true, and you had to go and make waves and accusations and be difficult and overall, taking Harry away from his family. So when the same man, proven right about her character, announces a book that could expose her mysterious pre-fame years, people aren't laughing anymore. They're asking a new question. If he was right about all of that, What else was he right about? I do believe Meghan is driving this whole caravan for him. He is so stressed out, you can see it in his face. Despair, he's confused. He thinks he's going to get in trouble if he doesn't say exactly what Meghan says. Very sad to watch. That statement hangs heavy because it reframes everything people have watched unfold with Harry. The tension, the strain, the constant defensiveness, the sense that he's always bracing for something. Thomas Jr. isn't talking like an outsider guessing. He's talking like someone who recognizes a pattern he's seen before. And then there's that word again. Phony. Thomas Jr. didn't throw it around casually. He chose it deliberately. A phony is someone who performs a role, someone who changes masks depending on who's watching, someone who learns how to move people, how to charm, how to mirror what others want to see. And you don't accuse your own sister of that unless you've watched it happen again and again over years. That's why this book isn't being dismissed the way his past warnings were. This time people are paying attention. So Neil Sean put out a video yesterday or the day before saying that Meghan and Harry are on the rocks. That idea doesn't shock anyone anymore. The cracks have been visible for a long time. The stress shows, the tension shows, and Thomas Jr. says he called that too, long before anyone else wanted to admit it, because to him, this isn't new, it's familiar. Okay, let's talk about the evidence that's been out there for years. The stuff Meghan has never answered. This is where the story gets uncomfortable, because this isn't wild conspiracy talk. This is documented material, real photos, real invitations, real timelines that don't line up. From 2004, when Meghan graduated Northwestern, to 2011, when she landed Suits, she wasn't a star. She wasn't making big money. She had small TV roles, deal or no deal briefcase girl, short appearances on CSI, General Hospital, nothing that explains non-stop European travel, luxury yachts, Monaco parties, or elite access. And yet those images exist. Yeah, actually, it was because of Meghan that it was taken away. She's spoken publicly about those years, framing them as struggle, auditions, barely getting by, the classic broke actress narrative. But the photos tell a different story, a story of luxury, of access, of connections that most struggling actors never touch. And when stories don't match evidence, people start asking questions. When one person tells lies and then tells 10 other lies to cover the one lie and it keeps on going, that's the core of the problem. Because once a public figure builds their entire brand on authenticity, gaps become dangerous, silence becomes suspicious. Author Kirby Summers documented that Meghan was invited to Yacht Week 2016 in Croatia. This wasn't some casual vacation. GQ itself described Yacht Week as Sodom and Gomorrah at sea, a high-end, closed-door playground for wealthy and powerful people. Elite access, serious money, serious connections, and again, there's never been an explanation for how she fit into that world. Do you sense that maybe trouble may lay ahead? I've always thought that. Honestly, the questions won't stop. How does a broke actress afford non-stop Europe trips? Who were the wealthy men in those photos? Who paid for Monaco yacht parties? And what kind of relationships were those? Because elite yacht culture is documented. Attractive young women are invited for companionship, networking, access. Doors open there that auditions never could. That's not judgment, that's reality. And the lifestyle that comes with those circles. The travel, the introductions, the connections. That's how things move in elite spaces. And Meghan's rise doesn't follow the normal Hollywood path. Her big breaks didn't come from endless auditions. They came through people. She met Trevor Engelson, a Hollywood producer. She was brought into Soho House, an ultra-exclusive club where royals, billionaires, and power players mix behind closed doors. She became close with Marcus Anderson, a Soho House insider connected to everyone who matters. That's how Suits happened. That's how Harry happened. Not luck, not coincidence, circles. And if there are real answers behind how those doors opened, Thomas Jr. is someone who would have seen it. Number one, no more lying. Number two, call your father already. That frustration isn't about publicity. It's about loyalty, about family, about showing up when things get ugly. Because siblings see things others don't. Here's what people forget about siblings. When you grow up with someone, you notice when money shows up that doesn't match income. You hear phone calls. You meet people who don't get mentioned to parents. You see patterns form long before the public ever notices. When people are no longer appropriate parts of her circle, they have to be expugned quickly so she can move on up the ladder. Thomas Jr. is 58, Meghan is 44. According to family sources, they spent real time together growing up. This isn't a distant relative guessing. This is someone who watched her navigate social spaces, watched how she worked people, watched the same behaviors repeat. And now, sources close to his book say he's done being vague. They say he's ready to name specifics, real relationships, real events, details that directly contradict the version of her past she's sold to the world. Go in there and try and change a 1,000-year-old tradition and monarchy to your own liking. Who does that? You don't announce a book like this unless you believe the official story is wrong, unless you believe you have receipts. Thomas Jr. publicly announced this book back in May 2025. He didn't use healing language. He didn't talk about reconciliation. He said he wanted to correct nonsensical stories. That's confrontation. That's someone saying, that's not how it really happened. And the timing says everything. He announces this as Meghan launches her Netflix show, selling warmth, compassion, authenticity. He calls that image nonsense and decides to challenge it publicly, because brothers remember the truth even when the story changes. I made one dumb mistake and I'm never being forgiven for it. Memory doesn't disappear just because PR does. People remember who paid the bills, who made introductions, which relationships were transactional, which stories were carefully edited for public consumption. And that's why family tell-alls hit harder than headlines. You can spin, you can scrub, but you can't erase memory.